Kyrie Irving looks like he's going to be missing home games for the Brooklyn Nets for the time being after reports said that he has not gotten the vaccine, and a lot of Nets fans are worried because now he might not be available for home games if Irving doesn't get at least one dose of the vaccine before the season starts. Not only would he be subjected to stricter guidelines set by the league for non-vaccinated players, but he would also be unable to play in any of the Nets' home games for the foreseeable future. New York City and San Francisco passed vaccination requirements for indoor activities, which include professional sporting arenas. That means that players competing for the Nets, Knicks, and now Warriors must be vaccinated in order to play in home games. Now, a lot of people are wondering, what are the rules if you're unvaccinated? It includes daily testing, mask requirements in team facilities, also mandatory quarantine if you come in contact with anyone who has tested positive. Kyrie Irving isn't the only big name that has really taken a stance against vaccines or at least chosen not to get vaccinated. Bradley Beal and Andrew Wiggins are two other people who actually risk missing playing games this season because of their vaccination status. So that's the story here. Kyrie Irving also did not attend the Nets media day in person this week. He instead just told the media to respect his privacy after he did not attend and respect his privacy in relation to the vaccination status. So a lot of people have a lot of questions, and biggest one of all is, what do we make of all this? So here's what I'll say. It is your decision. It is your decision whether or not you get vaccinated. That's fine. I'm not going to argue that. However, if you are a teammate of Kyrie Irving, right? If you're a teammate of Kyrie Irving, and especially a prominent teammate like KD, you have to be at least slightly annoyed at the fact that Kyrie Irving could likely be missing home games in Brooklyn, which is, again, half the games you play. That Kyrie Irving is just automatically going to miss half the games you play because of something as trivial as not getting a vaccine that has been proven to work and work extremely effectively. It has to be frustrating considering the fact that, Kyrie Irving has not been on the court, and there are varying reasons why, and I'm not going to get into why, but it's got to be frustrating given that past, and it at least has to be frustrating given the fact that the Brooklyn Nets as a team, this core that they have built with James Harden, Blake Griffin, KD, and Kyrie, all four of them have not been on the court as consistently as anyone probably would like it. It's part of the reason they didn't go all the way to the NBA Finals last year. So you're automatically putting yourself at a disadvantage right there. And it's going to hurt only the team, and it's going to hurt team chemistry if Kyrie Irving has to miss all the games in New York City, but he's also going to end up missing games out in the one or two games, whatever they play out in San Francisco against the Warriors. So that's going to be a big deal in the long run. It's going to affect the record. It's going to affect the way they play, and it's going to affect, honestly, I think a little bit of their team chemistry, and I think it already has affected it. KD is someone who likes Kyrie. KD chose to go play with Kyrie in Brooklyn. They chose to go there together to build something that lasts, to win titles, not just one, multiple titles. Now, 2 years in, two seasons in, they haven't done that. And if this is going to happen, again, we don't know what the developments might be with future vaccination status mandates or what have you in New York City, but it doesn't look like that's going to change anytime soon. As long as the vaccination rates nationally stay as low as they are, it doesn't look like New York City is going to budge on that. So it's a big deal for the Nets. And for Nets fans, it's got to be frustrating because you've witnessed Kyrie Irving and what he means to this team. And if he's not there, and again, there's other reasons. If you are missing games for personal reasons, if you're missing games for funerals or for mental health reasons, understood. But this can, for most rational people, is not a valid reason to miss games. And it shouldn't be. And it's because it's not. There's a lot of players out there, like we know Cole Beasley. He wrote a diss track. He was so offended by the vaccine. He was so offended by these vaccination requirements at Bill Stadium. He wrote a diss track about it. There's other players who are very outspoken about it, and again, Kyrie Irving is not like out there telling people not to get vaccinated. It's his own decision, which again, that's fine, but it kind of goes to the whole point of this vaccine and some of the more national, broad questions people are talking about when or asking themselves about the vaccine and these requirements. And one of the questions is that we're talking about nationally is, should you get the vaccine, not just for yourself, but for those around you? And you could apply a very similar question to the Brooklyn Nets team. Should Kyrie Irving get the vaccine, not just for himself, but for the people he plays with? For their sake, for the sake of the team, for the sake of the team doing better. And especially when it's been proven that the risks are very low, and it's been proven that it doesn't really affect you in any way, especially people in Kyrie Irving's age range. He's only 29. There's other things. There are people who legitimately can't get the vaccine, and I understand that. If there are people who legitimately cannot get the vaccine for health reasons, there are people who are pregnant, women who are pregnant can't get the vaccine. There's people with certain medical conditions, cancer, and I believe some of those people can't get the vaccine. I understand that. So if you're one of those people, that's fine. However, from everything I've seen, I don't know if Kyrie Irving is or isn't. However, assuming he's not, I think that it is just it's foolish for him to put his teammates in that position, and it's going to only hurt the team, hurt their chemistry and whatnot. So, in my opinion, it's foolish, and I think it's just not a good look for Kyrie Irving at this point, because one of the big knocks on him throughout his career has been that he maybe his whole mind or whatever isn't in basketball. Maybe his focus, rather, I should say, isn't in basketball and isn't really focused on the team itself. Which, again, if you got to find yourself, that's one thing. But if you're putting these things off, if you're putting basketball off, you're putting your teammates in bad positions where they need you and they need you, but they can't win. It's disheartening, honestly, and it's got to create some frustration on team members. I know the Brooklyn Nets have reported that the Brooklyn Nets organization, they've been trying to get Kyrie Irving vaccinated or talking to him at least about the vaccine, and it's just not working. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, actually, he weighed in on this. And was very adamant about this. He said, quote, "There's no room for players who are willing to risk the health and the lives of their teammates, staff, and fans simply because they are unable to grasp the seriousness of the situation or do the necessary research." And he also went on to say, "What I find especially disingenuous about the vaccine deniers is their arrogance at disbelieving medical experts. Yet, if their child was sick or they themselves needed emergency medical treatment, how quickly would they do exactly what those same experts told them to do?" And that is a very logical, fair, and correct examination of not only this scenario, I think, but the scenario that's playing out nationwide. Thanks for watching this video from Real Take Sports Talk. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Also, remember to check out our live show every single Thursday at 8 p.m. right here on the YouTube channel. And remember, keep it real.